Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Dr. Win, Dr. Lee, Charity. We are going to introduce our host. So we are going to begin with Rosalind Weiss. Rosalind is the Cultural Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia, a career Foreign Service Officer. She most recently served as the Deputy Principal Officer and Consular Section Chief at the U.S. Consulate General in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. In previous overseas posting, Ms. Weiss served as the Director of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs at the U.S. Embassy in Abuja, Nigeria, INL Counter-Narcotics Program Officer in Kabul, Afghanistan, Immigrant Visa Unit Chief in San Salvador, El Salvador, and Deputy Fraud Prevention Chief in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Ms. Weiss has also previously served in Brazil, Colombia, and Mexico. In Washington, Ms. Weiss served as the Adoption Branch Chief in the Bureau of Consular Affairs Office of Children Issues and the Congressional Liaison Officer to the Senate for the Bureau of Consular Affairs. Ms. Weiss hails from the state of Florida and holds a master's degree from George Washington University and a baccalaureate degree from Barry University. She speaks Spanish and some Portuguese. Ms. Weiss is married with 3 children. Thank you, Rosalind, for everything, and go ahead, please.
Thank you, Camilo. Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Rosalind Weiss. Yo soy la agregada cultural y de educación en la Embajada de los Estados Unidos en Bogotá. Me alegra darles la bienvenida a este taller. Es un honor para mí abrir este evento de nuestro proyecto Bridges, que significa puentes, porque eso es lo que somos y en lo que queremos convertirnos a través de este proyecto. Queremos apoyar la construcción de la capacidad institucional para que puedan construirse nuevas alianzas entre las instituciones de educación superior de Colombia y las universidades y colegios históricamente negras de los Estados Unidos. Las Historically Black Colleges and Universities, o HBCUs, son un motivo de gran orgullo para los Estados Unidos. Las HBCUs también representan un éxito alcanzado porque son un recurso valioso a través del cual podemos ofrecer a todos los estudiantes, independientemente de su raza, la oportunidad de desarrollar sus habilidades y talentos. En el 2019, el Departamento de Educación de los Estados Unidos firmó un memorando de entendimiento con el Ministerio de Educación de Colombia que tiene como objetivo promover oportunidades de intercambio cultural y educativo entre las HBCUs y las instituciones de educación superior en Colombia. Desde nuestra oficina hemos venido trabajando en varias iniciativas para implementar este memorando, pero hoy vamos a hablar más sobre el proyecto Bridges. Los recursos del gobierno por sí solos son insuficientes para abordar todos los desafíos del acceso equitativo y la educación inclusiva. Nosotros necesitamos trabajar con todos los sectores, los líderes académicos, empresariales y fundaciones para aumentar el acceso a nuevos modelos de intercambio académico, científico, cultural y programas de capacitación para estudiantes y profesores. Agradecemos su interés y el de las instituciones que representan para fortalecer las relaciones con los Estados Unidos. Como parte de mi trabajo, a menudo interactúo con representantes de las instituciones de educación superior de mi país y puedo ver su interés en desarrollar nuevas alianzas con Colombia. Este proyecto, que es financiado por nuestra Oficina de Diplomacia Pública aquí en la Embajada, es implementado por la Asociación de Instituciones Acreditadas de Alta Calidad Colombia Challenger Knowledge. Un socio clave para nosotros porque nos apoya incluyendo a las IES, no solo de las asociaciones, sino todo el sistema colombiano. También quisiéramos aprovechar esta oportunidad para informarles de un evento muy importante. Desde la Embajada de los Estados Unidos estamos organizando la cumbre con los HBCUs en cooperación con CCYK y con nuestros colegas del gobierno de Colombia, incluyendo el Ministerio de Educación y el ICETEX. Nos acompaña el día de hoy. La cumbre se llevará a cabo el 15 a 17 de agosto en Cali y reunirá representantes de Colombia y de los Estados Unidos para hablar sobre áreas específicas de interés y desarrollar programas de intercambio, especialmente para los estudiantes afrodescendientes de los dos países. Este taller es una de nuestras actividades de preparación para la cumbre. Nuestros programas están destinados a cultivar conexiones entre las personas para construir relaciones sólidas y duraderas. Los invito a aprovechar esta oportunidad para encontrar nuevos socios en los Estados Unidos. Finalmente, me gustaría agradecer a nuestra conferencista invitada, la doctora Joel Wynn, directora ejecutiva para programas internacionales en Tennessee State University, que nos ha apoyado en varias ocasiones. Muchísimas gracias. Y también me gustaría agradecer nuestros colegas de los HBCUs. I would like to thank our colleagues from HBCUs who will participate as speakers on the panel. Thank you very much for those of you representing HBCUs in the United States. We really appreciate you taking the time to present to our Colombian colleagues. Y sobre todo, muchísimas gracias a todos por acompañarnos hoy. Sabemos que es una semana bastante difícil porque hay mucho trabajo que hacer, pero están aquí para ver cómo podemos colaborar en el futuro. Muchísimas gracias y espero que disfruten del taller. Gracias.
Thank you, Rosalind. So I'm going to introduce Giovanni Anzola Pardo. He's PhD in the Development Studies, Master in Education, specialist in University Teaching and Bachelor of Education in Spanish and English, with studies in Project Management, Management of Financial Resources, and let me see, and university leadership at the University of Heidelberg, Germany, scholarship of the UniLead program of the TAAG, scholarship of the U.S. Department of State Education USA University Leadership Institutes. He currently works as Director of Internationalization and External Relations of the Universidad Externada de Colombia and CCYK President. Thank you, Giovanni.
Good morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants and honored guests, Rosalind, Diana, Dr. Wynn, Dr. Lee. Welcome to the virtual workshop on building bridges with institutions of higher education in Colombia and the United States, with a special focus on HBCUs. I'm thrilled to address this distinguished gathering today. But as we embark on this collaborative journey, let us reflect on the words of the great civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who championed diversity, inclusion, and equality. Dr. King once said, "An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity." These profound words remind us that unity, compassion, and understanding are essential for progress. And as we bridge the gap between our nations and institutions, let us embrace diversity as our strength. Let us celebrate our differences and recognize that each unique perspective contributes to the richer tapestry of knowledge and understanding. Our virtual workshop, led by Dr. Joel Wynn and Dr. Torian Lee, promises to be an enlightening experience. Dr. Wynn's expertise and Dr. Lee's expertise and commitment to fostering global connections exemplify the spirit of collaboration that defines this event. Throughout the agenda, we will explore strategies for building bridges across borders, cultures, and disciplines. We will learn from each other, share best practices, and forge lasting partnerships. And as a token of our appreciation for your active participation, digital certificates will be awarded to all attendees. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Association of High Quality Accredited Universities, CCYK, to Camilo Puerto, to all the people who have made this event happen. And of course, an event that is thanks to the partnership with the U.S. Embassy in Bogota. Rosalind, Diana, thank you once again for your support and for believing in this project of getting our nations being more closely through these type of activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Giovanni. And we are going to introduce our facilitator and one of the leaders of this kind of activities, Dr. Joel Wynn, Senior International Officer, Tennessee State University. She has over 30 years of experience in higher education and serves Tennessee State University as Senior International Officer, Deputy Chief Diversity Officer, and Assistant Professor in Educational Administration. She provides leadership for the Office of Diversity and International Affairs. Dr. Wynn holds a Doctorate of Education degree, Masters of Public Administration degree, and Bachelor's of Business Administration degree. She is a member of several civic and social organizations and has executed various community and university initiatives requiring extensive research in diversity and international issues, as well as policy implementation. Thank you, Dr. Wynn, for everything.
Thank you, Camilo, and greetings to everyone on the call. I am very excited to be able to join you today for day 2 of this important workshop. Yesterday, I think we had very rich dialogue with the HBCUs that were on the call, as well as the Colombian institutions that presented. And we are just motivated to continue the conversation and see how we can build bridges. Building bridges across borders between HBCUs and Colombian universities is an important endeavor that can bring about numerous benefits for both sides. And by fostering collaboration and exchange between our two institutions, we can promote diversity, cultural understanding, and academic advancement. First, establishing partnerships between HBCUs and Colombian universities, we can enhance diversity and inclusivity in both education systems. HBCUs have a rich history of providing quality education to African American students and promoting their success. By connecting with Colombian universities, excuse me, by connecting with Colombian universities, HBCUs can further expand their cultural reach and create opportunities for students from diverse backgrounds to engage in collaborative learning experiences. Similarly, Colombian universities can benefit from the unique perspectives and experiences that HBCU students and faculty bring, enriching their academic environment. Building bridges between HBCUs and Colombian universities can promote cultural understanding and exchange. Through joint research projects, faculty exchanges, and student mobility programs, individuals from both sides can gain insight into each other's cultures, traditions, and ways of thinking, as we heard a lot yesterday. This cross-cultural exposure fosters mutual respect, empathy, and appreciation for diverse perspectives, which is vital in today's interconnected world. It also establishes and enables students to develop global competencies and prepares them to navigate in a multicultural society. Moreover, collaborative initiatives between HBCUs and Colombian universities can drive academic advancement and innovation, also what we heard yesterday. By pooling resources, expertise, and research capabilities, both institutions can tackle shared challenges and explore new avenues of knowledge creation. Joint research projects can address issues of common interest, such as social justice, racial inequality, and sustainable development. We talked a little bit about the SDGs yesterday. This collaboration can lead to groundbreaking discoveries, impactful policy recommendations, and practical solutions that benefit communities on both sides of the border. We are, again, very happy to be with you today, and I look forward to another day of rich conversation. So thank you so much for inviting me, and I look forward to the rest of the day. Thank you. So Camilo, do you want me to go ahead and start into the next part, or was it
Yes,
someone else?
doctor. Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. So I am going to share my screen and give you just a brief overview of the U.S. higher education system. In my previous role as president of AIEA, I had the Association of International Education Administrators. I had the honor and privilege of getting to know a lot of different institution types throughout the US and abroad. And it was amazing to see how much similarity there was between our institutions. Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes, doctor.
Perfect. So we're going to look at the HBCUs, a little bit about HSIs, the importance of HBCUs, HSIs, and minority-serving institutions in promoting educational equity and diversity. We're going to look at different types of partnerships between these institutions and private organizations, and then share some specific examples of private organizations who partner with these institutions. HBCUs have had a long-standing history of legacy and providing higher education to African American students. These institutions were established prior to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, during a time when racial segregation and discrimination were prevalent. HBCUs emerged as beacons of hope providing African American students with access to quality education and opportunities that were denied to them at predominantly white institutions. HBCUs are very diverse in terms of their size, academic programs, excuse me, and institutional focus. They offer a wide range of disciplines, including liberal arts, sciences, engineering, business, education, and the arts. HBCUs are known for their nurturing and supportive environments, smaller class sizes in some instances, and close faculty-student relationships. These institutions often emphasize personal development, leadership skills, and community engagement. Federal funding also plays a significant role in supporting HBCUs. The U.S. government provides financial assistance through programs such as the Title III Historically Black Colleges and Universities program, which aims to strengthen the academic quality, infrastructure, and institutional capacity of these beloved institutions. This funding can be used for initiatives such as faculty development, curriculum enhancement, student support services, and research opportunities. HBCUs have a strong commitment to promoting African American culture, history, and social justice. They have been instrumental in producing a significant number of African American professionals, leaders, and scholars across various fields. HBCU alumni have made significant contributions to society in such areas as politics, as we've seen with our Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, civil rights, arts and culture, science, technology, and business. HBCUs often collaborate with government agencies, private organizations, and industry partners to secure additional resources and support. These partnerships can provide opportunities for internships, research collaborations, and career development programs for students. In recent years, there has been a growing recognition of the contributions and importance of HBCUs, leading to increased investments and support from various stakeholders, including philanthropic organizations and corporations. This type of support aims to strengthen HBCU's institutional infrastructure, expand its academic programs, enhance research capabilities, and provide scholarships and financial aid for students. Hispanic serving institutions. These institutions serve a significant population of Hispanic students. To be designated as an HSI, an institution must have an undergraduate full-time equivalent enrollment of at least 25% Hispanic students. HSIs are found throughout the United States with a concentration in states such as California, Texas, and Florida, where the Hispanic population is particularly large. HSIs play a vital role in addressing the educational needs of Hispanic students who often face unique challenges and barriers to higher education. These institutions strive to create a supportive and inclusive environment where students can thrive academically and personally. They offer a wide range of academic programs, including liberal arts, sciences, business education, and health professions. In addition to federal funding, HSIs may receive support from private foundations, corporations, and community organizations similar to HBCUs that recognize the importance of advancing educational opportunities for Hispanic students. These partnerships can provide resources for scholarships, research initiatives, and community outreach programs. HSIs often implement programs and initiatives to support the success of Hispanic students. This may include academic support services, mentoring programs, leadership development opportunities, and cultural events that celebrate Hispanic culture. By addressing the specific needs of Hispanic students, HSIs aim to improve retention rates, graduation rates, and overall student success. Both HSIs and HBCUs are critical components of the U.S. higher education system and play a significant role in promoting educational equity, social mobility, and diversity. These institutions continue to evolve and adapt to the changing needs of their students and communities while striving to provide inclusive and transformative educational experiences. There are also tribal colleges in the United States. So there are lots of different types of institutions, as I was saying, that I learned more about in my role as the president of AIEA. And we began to see so many opportunities for all of these institutions to collaborate, because at the end of the day, it's about the student's success. But we had to look at what were actually the barriers to access for these students. So the institutions such as HSIs, tribal colleges, and HBCUs opened the doors for those individuals who could not get into predominantly white institutions or are still facing barriers to getting into the predominantly white institutions. HSIs and HBCUs often form partnerships with private organizations to enhance their programs, resources, and support services. These partnerships can provide educational and additional funding, expertise, and opportunities for students. These are a few examples of partnerships that HBCUs and HSIs have with private organizations. Corporate partnerships. Many HSIs and HBCUs collaborate with corporations to establish partnerships that benefit students in various ways. These partnerships can include internships, cooperative education programs, and career placement opportunities. For example, a technology company may partner with an HBCU or an HSI to provide internships and scholarships for Hispanic students or African American students pursuing STEM fields. Philanthropic organizations. Private foundations and philanthropic organizations play a significant role in supporting these institutions. These organizations may provide grants, scholarships, and funding for specific initiatives. For instance, a philanthropic organization may partner with an HBCU to establish a scholarship program for African American students or fund research projects in a specific field. Research collaboration. HSIs and HBCUs can often engage in research collaboration with private organizations, including corporations and industry partners. These collaborations can provide opportunities for faculty and students to work on cutting-edge research projects, access specialized resources, and contribute to advancements in various fields. Private organizations benefit from the expertise and diverse perspectives of faculty and students from these minority-serving institutions. Then mentorship programs. Private organizations may establish mentorship programs in partnership with HSIs, HBCUs, tribal colleges. These programs connect students with professionals from the private sector who can provide guidance, career advice, and networking opportunities. Mentorship programs help students develop valuable skills, expand their professional network, and gain insights into potential career paths. Very importantly is financial support and scholarships. Private organizations often provide financial support and scholarships for students at these institutions. These scholarships can help alleviate the financial barriers and enable students to pursue higher education. Private organizations may also contribute to fundraising campaigns and endowments to support institutional development and student financial aid programs. Program development and enhancement. Private organizations may collaborate with these institutions to develop and enhance academic programs and curricula. These partnerships can bring industry expertise, resources, and best practices into the educational setting, ensuring that students receive relevant and up-to-date training. Private organizations may provide input on program design, offer guest lecturers, or sponsor specialized workshops and training sessions. These examples illustrate partnerships between HSIs, HBCUs, and private organizations can take various forms and serve very, very different purposes. These collaborations are mutually beneficial, of course, as they provide resources, opportunities for students, and support for students, while allowing private organizations to engage with diverse talent, contribute to social impact, and develop future workforce pipelines. Here are some examples of and details about partnerships between HSIs and private institutions or private organizations. Google. Google has partnered with various HSIs and HBCUs to promote diversity and support students pursuing careers in technology. Through programs like the Google HBCU Tech Exchange and the Google Hispanic Student Leadership Summit, Google provides networking opportunities, mentorship, and workshops to students from these institutions. Google also offers scholarships and internships specifically for students at HSIs and HBCUs. IBM. IBM has established partnerships with HSIs and HBCUs to support education and workforce development in technology fields. Through initiatives like the IBM Skills Academy and the IBM Academic Initiative, IBM collaborates with these institutions to offer training programs, curriculum resources, and access to IBM technologies. IBM also supports research collaboration and provides scholarships for students at HSIs and HBCUs. And the Bank of America. Bank of America has formed partnerships with HSIs and HBCUs to promote financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and career development. Through programs like the Bank of America HSI Entrepreneurship Program and the Bank of America Student Leadership Program, the organization provides mentorship, training, and internship to students from these institutions. They also provide scholarships and grants for HBCUs and HSI students. Microsoft. Microsoft has partnered with HSIs and HBCUs to increase diversity in the tech industry and support educational opportunities. Through initiatives like the Microsoft HBCU Connect program and the Microsoft Hispanic College Institute, Microsoft engages with students from these institutions through mentorship, workshops, and scholarships. Microsoft also collaborates with HSIs and HBCUs on research projects and technology-focused programs. The Coca-Cola Foundation has established partnerships with HSIs and HBCUs to support educational initiatives and community development. The foundation provides grants and scholarships for students at these institutions and supports programs focused on STEM education, leadership development, and entrepreneurship. Coca-Cola also sponsors events and initiatives that celebrate diversity and cultural heritage at these institutions. And lastly, Verizon. Verizon has formed partnerships with these institutions to promote STEM education, digital literacy, and career readiness. Through programs like the Verizon Innovative Learning Program and the Verizon HBCU Technology Scholars Program, Verizon provides access to technology resources, mentorship, and scholarships for students at these institutions. They also provide research and innovation project support. So these are just a few of the institutions that support the our beloved HSIs and HBCUs in the United States, but there are many more. For example, Tennessee State University has some great relationships with Bank of America, with Apple, with Microsoft, and some of the tech giants as we're becoming the hub for smart technology for HBCUs. And it has been a great experience for our students as well as our faculty. We have several faculty as well as students who are now considered Apple teachers. And the technology space is just wide open. So to have the support of these tech giants is very important. And it's also a great recruiting tool for students who are interested in coming to our institutions. So I want to stop there and give an opportunity for people to ask any questions about the presentation or anything relative to institutions in the United States. No questions. Did anybody understand what I was saying? Was I talking too fast?
It's perfect. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Okay, Angie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Angie Preciado. I'm a mobility professional at Javeriana, Cali campus. You talked about HSIs and HBCUs and also tribal schools. I want to know more about how is the interaction between HBCUs and HSIs, knowing that in the United States you have some population that overlaps, meaning the Afro-Latino communities in the United States?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So interestingly, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Texas A&M, but Texas A&M is a large university in Texas, and they, not too long ago, received the designation of an HSI. I was like, whoa, really? But it was because of the criteria of having at least 25% of your population as, categorized as Hispanic. I found that very interesting, but I say that to say, when you look at the HBCUs, for example, that's my expertise. The HBCUs are so under-resourced. We do have a lot of Hispanic speaking students, Hispanic students that classify themselves as Hispanic or Latino or Latinx or whatever the category that you choose to use. We have those students. We don't close our doors to any students. And it's the same thing at HSIs. HSIs have all demographics of students. So it's not that our institutions don't allow other demographics to come. They do, and they do come to our institutions, and our institutions are very welcoming and inclusive of all demographics. But as it relates to collaborating with each other, we don't say, well, we're only going to collaborate with an HBC, with an HSI, we're only going to collaborate with, or we only look to collaborate with certain institution types. In higher ed, I think that we are very open-minded, especially at HBCUs. We've always been very open-minded and welcoming to work with any type of institution. But our institutions are very diverse. Tennessee State University is the most diverse institution in the whole state of Tennessee. That is because we have such a wide range of ethnic backgrounds, and not just as it relates to ethnicity, but the other layers. Women, most of our institutions, the research tells us, are the majority women, right? So we have a large number of women, we have a large number of religious backgrounds, we have a large number of ethnicities. So we are very diverse, and we love to collaborate with all institution types. I cannot speak for an HBCU, for an HSI, but what I have found in my role with AIEI is that as scholars, we're all looking to work with each other. So there is not just a small window of opportunity for collaborating. We all want to work together because we can all learn from one another. So I hope that that addressed your question, but I did want to mention that about Texas A&M. I thought that was very interesting. Now the question becomes, would Texas A&M want to work with an HBCU? That's a question I can't answer, but that would be interesting to see.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Danilo said something in the text. We are a TYT public. What does that mean? Camilla, can you help me with the chat, please?
Of course. Of course, we are going to, okay, we are a TAT public. A TAT is a technical and technological. It's more close to a college in the United States. In Colombia, we have a 70% African population from the Colombian Pacific. What must we do to be able to apply and participate in these exchange programs and collaborative work between both nations? I think we can explore these questions during the workshop. For all the activities that we have planned with the U.S. Embassy. So Danilo, please wait for the development of the activities. The U.S. Embassy is going to also share these kind of activities with you. Luis Fernando Quintero, good morning. I would like to know how we from Colombia could aspire to work on a project that connects this initiative where successful case presentation and opportunities can we showcase. Okay, the same. We are going to develop this kind of activity, so I think the people is very excited to initiate to collaborate with the HBCUs. So I think we can explore this in this workshop and in other activities.
That's perfect. Well, we are excited. Like I said yesterday in my presentation with the HBCUs, Tennessee State University has been all over Colombia, and it has been through the generosity and the vision of the embassy there, also the Binational Center, the Colombo Americano, just getting to know individuals throughout the region. Building relationships has been the most important thing for us at Tennessee State University, was building relationships with people throughout Colombia, all the way from Choco to Barranquilla to Bucaramanga to little towns like El Guamo. I mean, we've been all over. And a lot of that had to do with cultural exchange. We weren't necessarily going for just academic exchange. We were going for cultural exchange because we felt that building the cultural competency between the students and the faculty was important first. We needed to get to know each other. And then what happened from there was that faculty began to talk to each other about projects that could be done. And we listened to the students about things that they would like to do with their colleagues in each other's country. Language was a barrier. However, that barrier was, we got over that barrier very quick because of technology. With the Google Translate and all of that, the students began to talk to each other. And as I was stating yesterday, they have become lifelong friends. They travel back and forth to visit each other. They keep up with each other on social media. So it has been just a wonderful, wonderful, almost 10 years of, well, no, it's been over 10 years, 10 years of working with the embassy there in Bogota and all the institutions that and agencies that we've built relationships with over the years. It's been a great experience. And I just think that all the HBCUs that are interested and all of the Colombian institutions that are interested should definitely get together and let's make a difference for our students. Let's see where we are. So we still have, no, we're right at 9:15.
Dr. Wynn, I think there was another question actually before those that Camilo was reading. And it's about requirements. I guess they meant specific requirements for Colombian partners of the HBCUs or HSIs.
When you say requirements, I'm not sure what that means, but it's just having the desire to want to work together. We do MOUs. We talked about that a little bit yesterday, and you'll probably hear that from Dr. Lee and Dr. Hope about and Dr. Clay about some of the requirements that our institutional administration require. We don't have to have an MOU to have a conversation. We don't have to have an MOU to necessarily do a cultural exchange or faculty exchange. It's just what they would like to see. Now, when we start doing major projects and things like that, I'm speaking from Tennessee State University. I can't speak on behalf of the other HBCUs, but the president will require that because we want to make sure that it's not just a one and done, that it is a relationship that is being built and that is sustainable. So the official requirement would be the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the two institutions. That would be the official requirement. So we are at the end of my time, and I will be jumping in and out of the conversation throughout the rest of the morning, but we're now ready for you, Deanna, I think.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Thank you, Dr. Wynn. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Gracias, Camilo, por organizar esta sesión. Gracias a todos los que están participando hoy. Yo voy a hablar en español o en Spanglish, creo yo. Si hay preguntas también, por favor, déjenme saber. Yo voy a compartir mi pantalla. Permítanme un segundo. Voy a compartir mi pantalla, ¿no?, con ustedes. Por favor, ¿alguien me confirma si está viendo?
Sí,
Vamos.
Erika.
Correcto.
Ya vemos.
Gracias. Bueno, entonces, en este momento, digamos, en la parte de mi presentación, lo que voy a hacer
Diana,
es contarles, díganme.
I'm sorry for the interruption, but is it possible that you speak in English because Dr. Witt doesn't speak Spanish? So if you speak in English, it would be better, please.
Well, I can speak in English, but I just wanted to facilitate for most of our colleagues who are online because most of them are from Colombian institutions. And I think most of this information that I'm going to speak about, Dr. Wynn already knows. But okay, I can speak in English. And
Thank you.
And if you prefer, for my Colombian colleagues who are also connected, please let me know if you have questions. I can easily change.
Thank you.
Sorry, I don't know what happened with my presentation. I don't know if you can see it well. Okay, so in my portion of the presentation, I will talk to you about the HBCU Summit. As Rosalind mentioned at the beginning, we from the embassy in cooperation with CCYK, the Ministry of Education, our colleagues from USAID, ICETEX, even also colleagues from the Colombian Embassy in Washington, we have been building this idea of an HBCU summit. We started thinking about this several years ago, but we finally came to a point in which we have the funding. We have been building on different initiatives to have colleagues from both sides, from the US and Colombia, to attend the summit, to be able to share experiences. And so, well, we invite you to plan and attend. So the summit will take place in August this year, from August 15 to 17. And one thing that I really want to highlight is that for most of you, mis colegas colombianos, you know that during the same week, there will be another big event for higher education in Colombia that it's called LACHEC, the Latin American and the Caribbean Higher Education Conference. Sorry, I'm gonna switch to Spanish. Para mis colegas de Colombia, ustedes saben que LACHEC es un evento súper importante para nosotros, es un evento que además está retomándose después de varios años. El evento entiendo que se termina el 15 de agosto y es nuestro interés desde la embajada que ustedes también puedan participar en LACHEC y puedan empatar, digamos, esta participación, complementarla para luego continuar con el HBCU Summit. LACHEC entiendo que se va a llevar a cabo en Colombia, el Summit se va a llevar a cabo en Cali, entonces, pues para que ustedes comiencen a planear desde ya. Pero además, sorry, I'm gonna switch again. So, además, during this week, during the same week, also in Cali, as most of you might have heard, there is a very important music festival that is called Petronio. And so we also wanted to schedule the summit for the same week because we think the Petronio is a fantastic opportunity for our colleagues from the US to come and also have a cultural opportunity to have a cultural engagement, a cultural exchange with Colombia. And most importantly, because we know that the Petronio Music Festival is probably the most important festival that attracts Afro-Colombian population in the country. It's a very important festival. Also from the embassy, we are planning a specific event in which we will bring some experience, some cultural experience, some cultural event that will be part of this festival. So probably you can plan and attend both, well, 3 events, LACHEC, the summit, and the Petronio. Also, we have already agreed with the Petronio Festival organizers, and they will give us the opportunity to be part of the festival. So some of our speakers from the HBCU Summit will be also speakers for the Petronio Festival, and as well as I said before, an activity, an event organized by the embassy will be part of the official schedule of the Petronio. So the participants, the attendees of the summit will be able to also join those activities as part of the summit. The location, well, is in Cali. We expect to have approximately 80 representatives in the summit, approximately 40 from HBCUs, 40 from Colombian institutions. We will also have representatives from the Department of State, of course, from the embassy, from our colleagues from USAID, from the government of Colombia, and other local leaders. This time, with the organizers committee of the summit, we are planning to focus the summit in 4 big topics. We really want you to take advantage of the summit, and this will be an opportunity to meet new friends, to have a cultural exchange, to have a good time, but also to focus on specific new programs in these topics. These are the big topics that we are gonna be focusing on our activities. One is sustainability, biodiversity, social justice, and ancestral knowledge. Please be aware that these are big topics. So we started to list some subtopics, like under sustainability, we included economics and innovation, but for sure you can add, or you can think about other subtopics within that huge sustainability topic. The same with biodiversity, social justice, and ancestral knowledge. These 4 big topics are mainly the way we can focus our ideas. We will have subgroups to work together around these topics also. I think it's important for you to start preparing from your institutions which programs, which initiatives you have under these topics, and think how can you connect these initiatives, those initiatives that you have, and how you can connect with HBCUs on these specific topics. In the summit, we're looking to include an academic content, of course. We'll have best practices. We want you to share ideas, knowledge, interests, and of course, to strengthen academic and scientific bonds. We also want to include, as part of the summit, experience from alumni, not only Colombian alumni, but also American students who are in Colombia. And so we will have some activities in which those alumni will be leading, will be sharing. We actually want to take the opportunity to also take some testimonials from the students, but we also want you to hear from those students who benefited from the programs. So we'll also bring them to Cali. That's great. Then we'll also have networking opportunities. We have a couple of like social events that will be part of the summit for you to also meet local leaders from Cali and the region. We will also include campus visits. Our colleagues from the higher education institutions in Cali will be very happy to welcome our colleagues from the US and also from Colombia. So I think this is an opportunity for all colleagues that haven't had the opportunity to also visit your colleagues in Colombia. This will be a great time for you, a great opportunity for you to go meet them. Within the campus visits, we are also planning, of course, meetings with professors, researchers, and also, well, a tour probably to see the campus. and cultural exchange, as I said before. Well, the most important, I would say, information I will provide apart from the summit is that we really want you to take the opportunity and attend. And thinking about the limitations that we have, we all have limitations, budget limitations. We want to offer ways for financial support for our colleagues to attend. So we will offer financial support for representatives from HBCUs and for Colombian representatives also attending. We really want to make sure you have the opportunity. Directly from the summit, we have reserved a portion of the budget to support attendees. And our colleagues from ICETEX who are also speaking later, they have also agreed to help us supporting some of the HBCU representatives. But there, as you know, most of you know ICETEX, so the mechanism they use to support colleagues is very specific. So I won't speak on them because they have a presentation later, but I just wanted to highlight that those colleagues who would like to receive support, especially like Colombian colleagues who would like to receive support to attend the summit, they can apply directly to the organizers to the summit. Also HBCUs, but we will also have some support from the government of Colombia. Sorry, I'm going to switch again para mis colegas de las instituciones de Colombia. Quisiera decirles que para nosotros en la embajada es muy importante tener la participación desde todas las regiones del país. Por eso, como parte de la organización de esta cumbre, nosotros hemos decidido ofrecer este apoyo en la participación. Participar en el Summit no cuesta nada, no hay un costo de registro. Sin embargo, también vamos a ofrecer un apoyo para el alojamiento, la alimentación. De hecho, está en el siguiente slide. Entonces, esperamos que realmente puedan aprovechar esta oportunidad. Sin embargo, un tema muy importante para poder aplicar esta ayuda es poder comenzar a trabajar desde ya para que cuando llegue el momento de la cumbre, ustedes ya tengan algunos colegas identificados, tengan algunos temas en los que quieren trabajar. Ojalá desde este momento puedan comenzar a indagar dentro de sus instituciones en estos temas que ya mencioné. Ojalá ustedes puedan comenzar a indagar dentro de sus instituciones qué profesores son los que están trabajando en estos temas, qué proyectos tendrían, cómo podrían de pronto conectarse con instituciones en los Estados Unidos. Traten de identificar eso desde ya, porque la idea que nosotros tenemos es que ojalá cuando llegue el Summit sea un momento, o la cumbre sea el momento de llegar y compartir lo que se ha logrado, finalizar con los detalles, digamos, de esta creación de nuevas alianzas, de nuevos programas, finalizar los detalles del diseño de los programas que ya tengan en mente. Ojalá el Summit, o esperamos que el Summit no sea simplemente la oportunidad para llegar y decir, hola, mi nombre es tal. O sea, que no sea como un primer contacto al Summit, sino que más bien el Summit sea una actividad en la que ustedes van a concluir o van a complementar las conversaciones que ya han tenido anticipadamente vía virtual. Para eso nosotros hemos desarrollado una serie de eventos que vamos a estar haciendo desde ahora hasta antes del Summit, e incluso después del Summit vamos a tener algunas actividades de seguimiento. Entonces, esperamos que realmente puedan aprovechar la oportunidad. Para hoy, estamos muy felices porque tenemos muchas personas asistiendo a este evento, pero esperamos que ustedes también nos puedan apoyar invitando a otros colegas de sus instituciones o de otras instituciones para que se unan a esta conversación y puedan comenzar a prepararse, puedan comenzar a ubicar sus colegas en los Estados Unidos. And I was saying for those of our colleagues attending who don't speak Spanish, I was just saying that for us, the HBCU Summit is a very important event, and we would like, or we are planning that when you come to the summit, you come to finalize your conversations on new programs, on new partnerships, or that you come to the summit with specific ideas to share about new programs, with a specific, probably with a specific contacts already in Colombia. Of course, you will have the opportunity to meet new Colombian colleagues, new Colombian institutions, but we really hope when you come to the summit, you already have a very specific idea of what you would like to do with a Colombian institution. So this is the time to start preparing. We have designed several activities that we have already scheduled that you will receive more information about. But the idea is that you start preparing from now. And when you come to the summit, you already come with ideas and connections. Well, para el apoyo financiero, para el apoyo financiero, como decía antes, tenemos la idea de apoyar el alojamiento en Cali desde el 14 hasta el 18, teniendo en cuenta que el summit es del 15 al 17. La alimentación, el transporte, por supuesto, incluyendo la recogida, la llevada al aeropuerto y transporte local. Y la participación que no tiene ningún coste. Also, well, the presentation is in English, so that's okay for our colleagues from HBCUs. And this is my contact. I think most of you have my contact information. So I don't know if you have questions about the summit.
Sí, hola Diana, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Vanessa Enrique de la Corporación Universitaria Rafael Núñez de Cartagena y Barranquilla. Nos conocimos hace poquito en Bogotá. Un placer nuevamente. Quería hacerte una preguntita. No sé si de pronto tengan el listado de las instituciones de educación superior que vienen de Estados Unidos para poder revisarlas de antemano.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Mira, no tenemos una lista todavía porque todavía estamos invitando a las personas a que se preparen y planeen venir. Entonces, de hecho, la idea es que si ustedes tienen algún contacto en Estados Unidos que quieran, digamos, una de las HBCUs con la que ustedes se quieran contactar, si todavía no tienen aquí, digamos, no saben si va a asistir, pues esta es la oportunidad para que ustedes los contacten y los inviten a participar si es que ellos no lo saben. Gracias por tu pregunta y de hecho voy a aprovechar para compartir una imagen que Camilo me compartió de CCYK. A ver, les muestro. Es una imagen que resume las actividades que tenemos para este año. Entonces tenemos dos proyectos. Este es el Bridges Project, que es, pues, desde el principio Rosalind lo mencionó. Arrancamos con estos virtual workshops o estas sesiones que hicimos una ayer especialmente para HBCUs, hoy es especialmente para las instituciones de Colombia. Luego vamos a tener unas reuniones y importantísimo para todos nuestros colegas que nos están acompañando, si ustedes están planeando ir a NAFSA este año, vamos a tener un evento que se va a llevar a cabo el 29 de mayo a las 5:30 de la tarde, muy cerca del centro de convenciones. So, we are planning an event during NAFSA, during the annual NAFSA conference in May 29th at 5:30 p.m., very close to the convention center. And during that activity, we will present again the HBCU Summit. And this activity is mainly to invite everyone to participate, but also to show what we have done. So if you are planning to attend, please also include this event in your agendas, in your schedules. Tenemos otra actividad también muy específica con exalumnos. También tenemos unas reuniones, un Training Academy que vamos a tener, también virtual, en donde esperamos poder acompañarlos construcción de los contactos con Estados Unidos y en donde los podemos ayudar también a descubrir, digamos, a buscar estos nuevos programas en los que les gustaría trabajar. Luego tenemos también, obviamente, el Summit y luego, bueno, tenemos algunas actividades de seguimiento del Summit. Veo que hay alguien más que tiene una pregunta. Andri.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Andrea Bustamante. Estoy dando parte de la Universidad Nacional de Colombia y mi pregunta está relacionada sobre la asistencia al Summit. Además de nosotros, profesionales relacionados con las oficinas de internacionalización, ¿habría posibilidad de llevar profesores que sean expertos en esas áreas para las que se organiza el Summit?
Pues ojalá pudieran llevar personas, pero es importante que tengan en cuenta que desde la organización no podríamos apoyar financieramente a más de una persona. Entonces, ojalá desde las instituciones también tengan esta disponibilidad de enviar otros colegas. Y pues también debo aclarar que el Summit no es solamente para las personas de Global Initiatives o de International Relations, es para todo el personal, digamos, académico, administrativo, solamente que sabemos que las personas de las oficinas de las oficinas internacionales son las personas que nos ayudan a navegar, digamos, el avance de estos proyectos dentro de las instituciones. Pero si ustedes pueden incluir personas, profesores que estén trabajando en los temas, maravilloso.
Perfecto, muchas gracias.
More questions. Me están preguntando, sorry, I have a question here in the chat. Where can I consult the specific interest topics to present at the summit? Well, ¿dónde están las temáticas? Ya. Vamos a tener más información específica sobre el summit que vamos a compartir con todos ustedes. I think Camilo shared with everyone that you will receive like a virtual certificate because you attended this event. And we will be sending information about the summit and about all our activities to everyone who has registered to our activities. So you will receive more information soon, probably by the end of this month. Vanessa, thank you. Yo tengo una pregunta. A mí, como estudiante de la Universidad del Valle, me llegó la invitación mediante el correo, pero siempre me envían estas invitaciones donde podría buscar más información. Bueno, muchas gracias. Y gracias a Luis. Gracias por asistir a este evento. Pues mira, Luis, estas actividades que estamos haciendo son primordialmente dirigidas a representantes de las instituciones, que son las personas que trabajan más en la construcción de las alianzas, en la construcción de los programas para favorecer el intercambio para ustedes los estudiantes. Sin embargo, si tú ya has participado en alguno de los programas, puedes ser parte también del componente de exalumnos que vamos a tener dentro del Summit. En nuestra base de datos y seguramente vas a estar recibiendo más información. Entonces, gracias. Bueno, pues muchísimas gracias a todos. Ya creo que no hay más preguntas. Thank you everyone for attending this event. And there is a final question. Is there a website where I can find information? We will have a site. So we will also share that information with you. Thank you everyone. Gracias a todos nuestros colegas y esperamos.
Okay, well, we're ready to go to the next session, and we really appreciate you sharing this information, Deanna. I am very hopeful and remaining positive that our institutions can connect and we can see some great collaborations from the event in Cali. I know I'm looking forward to it, so thank you all so much. Next, we will have a presentation on financial aid from ISATEX from Maria. Is she on the call?
It's going to be Sebastián Fajardo.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? I will share my presentation. So, sure. Well, my name is Sebastián Fajardo. I am advisor at the International Relations Office, and I work with Maria Cepeda. She's the head of the office, but in this moment, she's attending a directive committee. I will talk to you about the International Cooperation Office of ICETEX. So many colleagues of the Colombian universities know these opportunities, but the idea is that through what I will present to you, you can have instrument or tools to cooperate with the HBCU colleagues. So what does ICETEX? ICETEX is known in Colombia for offering student loans to the students so they can study in Colombia, undergraduate, postgraduate programs. Besides, they can study abroad, postgraduate, PhD, master programs, loans for a second language. But in our office, in the International Relations Office, we have another action camp by one side, but we have three important lines of action depending of our audience. We have a line of programs for Colombian students, Colombian citizens in general. We have programs for foreigners. We have programs for institutions for institutions of higher education, and we make cooperation with different governments. And in this case, I will name one that it's Fulbright, for example, from the United States. It's important to say it. What do we do for Colombians? We establish alliance with international partners. They can be universities, governments. So we offer to the Colombian students or the Colombian professionals scholarships. These scholarships, as I mentioned, are really offered by the international cooperants. So, for example, we have full scholarships from different kind of governments, which cover a lot of fees. But we establish alliance with different kind of universities, so they can receive Colombian students. Normally, the international universities offer scholarships or discounts on the tuition fee, and ICETEX complement that scholarship with a loan. So it's really complete, and this is a big opportunity for the international universities who want to work in Colombia to get known, because what does ICETEX? ICETEX established the alliance, and ICETEX launches a call in Colombia. So we pre-select the best students and we present them to our partners, so they select the ones who will receive the scholarships, and that's how we work for the Colombian scholarships. That's it. Just to let you know, the website of ICETEX is the website most visited in Colombia for the public institutions. I didn't mention that, sorry, but ICETEX is part of the educative sector. We work beside the Ministry of Education, but what we do is to help the students to gain access to education, to different kind of opportunities that I'm explaining. But we have another really important area that is foster the internationalization of higher education. Besides the scholarship for programs, we have programs with own resources. One that it's important to know is Young Talents Program. This is a forgivable loan. That means that they apply to the loan. They go abroad to complete the study. They come back. make a retribution process, a social process that they propose to us, and that's it. We forgive the loan, and that would be like a scholarship. What does Young Talents Program do? We have two different kind of calls. One is just for artists, so the Colombian students can go abroad to make short courses of master program in different disciplines of arts. And we have another call is for STEM areas, so they can study a program related with science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We offer to the students loans of $16,000 for short courses and $25,000 for master programs. And this is an opportunity for in this year we're promoting that the Colombian teachers, professors apply to this program and go to study abroad. But for women, we want, especially the STEM call, we want to promote the participation of women in these areas. For the HBCUs, I know this is not a presentation for them. It's maybe an opportunity because we are offering directly financiation, and if they offer programs related with these areas, it would be interesting if they want to see an opportunity to engage students through this kind of program. This is another forgivable loan. This is called Mariano Espina Perez, but we offer the forgivable loan. The student just have to complete the program, return to Colombia, and present a certification. But this is these areas related with agro-industry, with rural development. Just this is another important program. In this case we work with the AAD of Germany, but maybe it's important to know the principle for the Colombian universities. What does the program do? We offer scholarships for students of engineering, so they can make an academic semester in Germany and a practice in an internship in Germany. So this is really complete. We work normally each year. We send a call, so the Colombian universities present to this call to where they tell us that they have the interest to make part of this program. This is what is important to explain about this, that the universities have to prepare the students so when they travel, they have the proficiency, language proficiency, the mathematics proficiency, so they can study with the mates in German. Another side is the programs for foreigners. We want to promote Colombia as an academic destination. So we have different kind of programs. One is language assistant. Another is Beca Colombia, Scholarship Colombia. It's maybe the most important. And we are in charge of the student and academic mobility platform of Pacific Alliance. In what do we do in language assistance? We bring assistants of where they are native from different countries. For example, we bring English teaching assistants from the United States through the Commission Fulbright. We bring from Germany, from France, from China, from UK, and they come to participate 10 months in the Colombian universities, helping, assisting the teaching of their language. And this is really interesting because this is a cultural exchange. They came here to know Colombia, and they support and they foster the internationalization of the institutions where they participate. Normally are universities, but they come to schools, to primary schools. Another opportunity for the colleagues of the HBCU, but there will be another spaces. But this is a scholarship. This is a scholarship, Beca Colombia scholarship. We call it like that. This is a scholarship for foreign students. We offer full scholarships so they can come to Colombia to study a postgrad program, master, PhD program. And here we have a modality of program we call it specialization. Like it's 1 year program. It's a postgraduate program. The scholarship is really complete. We normally open it 1 year, one time per year, then so they can start the studies in August. And we will open this scholarship maybe the next week. The only fee that the students have to pay is the international ticket. They have support for the installation costs, health insurance, courtesy visa, living expenses for books and materials, and this is really complete. In this scholarship, the Colombian universities are the ones who offer us the discount or the scholarship for the tuition. That's important to say. So we work in alliance with the Colombian universities, and in this program in this year we have more than 130 universities, the best universities in Colombia. There are really good universities, region universities that are really good. So it's a wide portfolio. That's it. We have just to let you know, but for the Colombian colleagues, ICETEX is in charge of the national focus point of the Student and Academic Mobility Platform, the Pacific Alliance. What does this program? This program offers scholarships mobility scholarships between the countries that integrate the Pacific Alliance: Colombia, Chile, Mexico, and Peru. The last years, each country offered 100 scholarships, at least like 7 and 5% for mobility for undergraduate students. So students that of undergraduate programs can make an exchange in an university of another country. This is a full scholarship. But besides, we offer these programs. This program offers a scholarship for professors and researchers and doctoral students, so they can make short stances and short and long stances. This year we will open it soon, and you will soon hear about it. We'll share with you. And finally, we have programs for Colombian universities. This program is international experts. It's divided in 3 calls, but the objective of this program is to offer tools and financial aids to the Colombian universities so they can foster internationalization through the cooperation with international partners. They can be another international universities, governments, different kind of organizations. How do we do that? We have a general code that have different kind of modalities. One modality is outbound mobility. The Colombian universities apply for funding, so they can send abroad their professors, the students, the staff mobility. They can go to an international university, different kind of events. They decide which is. ECTEX supports with the tickets, international tickets, or living expenses. Or this year we have included a new fee. That's the tickets or entrance for events like NAFSA, or events related with internationalization of higher education. We have another modality, which is a modality that we use to support the summit and the HBCUs. This is inbound mobility. Through this modality, the Colombian universities ask us for financial aid so they can bring to Colombia their partners. They can bring normally they can bring they can be teachers, professors, researchers, staff mobility, different kind of representatives of their international partners. As I mentioned, they can be, normally they are universities, but they can be governments, another kind of organization. As I mentioned, the idea with CCYK and the embassy is that ECTEX we will offer support for 10 tickets. So for 10 tickets to support at least 10 representatives from the HBCUs so they can come to the summit. The general call offers two virtual courses. That means that the cost so they can apply to a virtual course offered by international university. So an international university, that's for example something that we are working with Fulbright Commission. An international university offers a really interesting course, so ECTEX can give you the money, so the Colombian representative can make this course. We have another code that are not in my presentation, but I will mention it. But I can share more information later. That is one call for grants. This is a call for grants, and the Colombian University can apply to different kind of grants. Grants for projects, and this is opportunity of cooperation with international partners, where they present a project between two Colombian universities and one international university. If they present by this structure, ECTEX offers a financial aid of $25,000. If the project of the alliance is structured by 3 Colombian universities and 1 international university, we will give $50,000. By the other hand, this call offer calls for mobility, for international mobility. They can apply for international mobility of the students that have never gone abroad in international opportunity. Really students that really need this opportunity, or mobility for professors. And that's the ECTEX offers. If only just one university applies, we offer $12,000. If 2 universities present, ECTEX will give $25,000. Sorry, and it depends of the month. They have to present more professors or students to go to the activity. They decide where to go. So this is important in this part for the international colleagues, that the ones who are interested, they must have a partner in Colombia and tell them, I will have the idea, I would like to receive your students, I would like to work with you. But this is a really good opportunity. And we have finally a call for teaching and protection of language. What do we do with this call? We offer grants, little grants of 5,000 grants for the Colombian University, bring specialist professors for teaching a second language in their universities. Any language. The one they decide, they can bring a group, so they can intensive courses in a language. So in the university, they promote the learning of the language. By the other hand, we offer this kind of grant, 5,000 grants for Colombian students, for Colombian professors, just for professors, go abroad to learn a second language. And these financial aids or modalities, we offer them too for protection of native language in Colombia. So the Colombian universities can bring specialist professors to make activities to protect a native language in Colombia. And finally, these calls are open in this moment. And finally, just to let you know, and the international colleagues, we generate different kind of alliance with governments to promote the cooperation, to develop the internationalization of the country. I just want to mention one that I have already said in different moments. We work with the Fulbright Commission, co-financing different kind of programs. We said co-finance because we put money and Fulbright for another amount of money. And what we do with this program is important to let you know about it, because these programs are directed for the Colombian universities. We have several programs. One are the ETA program, the English Teaching Assistant Program for the United States. They come to Colombia. ICETEX supports that program. US scholars and US specialists that are scholars for the best high level, they come to Colombia to make cooperation activities, researching programs. The Colombian universities are the one to present the kind of program that they will do. And this is really important programs. And US students program. So students from the United States of master and doctoral programs, they come to Colombia to make their research activities in Colombian universities. That is really important for both sides. And that's it. That's the presentation about ICETEX.
Very interesting. I learned a lot. I had no idea that ICETEX was so amazing. That is a lot. And I'm happy to know about the relationship with Fulbright. That's also something good to know and very impressive. So thank you so much for sharing that wealth of information. Were there any additional questions for him before we transition? I know there's lots of information in the chat. So Camilla, I'm not sure if you've been tracking those or not.
Yes, let me see. Okay, Andre Bustamante asks, what are the requirements for requesting financial support for events like NAPSA? What are the requirements from the higher education institutions to get one of those language assistants? Is there any program to support language assistance of Spanish as a foreign language interested in doing their internship in the USA?
Well, that's a good question that I didn't mention. Normally in this program, we have, before opening the calls, we make a process where the Colombian universities make description in the program. So this year we have 149 universities in this program. So they are the ones who can apply to these calls, which what do they have to do? Normally, if you can, maybe I will I will put the link here to first, you can see if your university is in the program, just check. But the universities that are part of international experts normally are the ones who offers scholarships for the Beca Colombia scholarship. or that the universities that don't have postgraduate programs, we have opened another kind of activities of cooperation that they can do to be part of international experts. So it's just that they can apply. NAFSA, that I didn't mention that, but and it's important. We will support NAFSA this year, as normally we make all the years. We have an activity, an alliance with CCYK, and to promote the participation of the Colombian universities and to make a country activity of participation in NAFSA. But besides, we will offer the international tickets or the inscription. The university decides which fee they apply. We have, it's important, I like the link that you see, we have a chronogramma, and you have to see in which moment you can apply. What is important for the colleagues that are not officers of the international relations? This program is managed by your international relations office. And if you are a teacher and a student, if you are interested, you have to go to the international relations office of your university and tell them that you want to apply, and they will explain to you all the information. The language assistant, normally we open a call and just the university says, hey, I want to participate, which is the most important, that the university must cover the living expenses of the linguist of the assistant. That's it. The university tells us which assistant. Normally, for example, for Fulbright, they make their own call, but we make a call for the other countries. But that's really it. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay. I can see other question.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hi, thank you again, Sebastian. Okay, Camilla, do we want to go on to the next group if everyone is here? Or do we want to take our break now?
Yes, we have the break until 10:45. In the return, we are going to have Tunisia Hope and Charlene Chester for some HBCUs around universities.
Okay, well, we will break and we will come back at 10:45 for our panel, our next panel. Thank you. All right. So we are on the last half of our workshop and our time together. So again, thank you to each one of you for coming and engaging in some rich dialogue as we had yesterday. I am very honored to present to you, introduce to you rather, Dr. Tania Hope. She is the International Director at Howard University over the Ralph Bunche Center. And she will be sharing with you some of the current programs and past programs that have taken place with Howard University and universities in Colombia. We also have Dr. Charlene Chester, who is the Assistant Dean for the College of Liberal Arts at Morgan State University, two of our outstanding HBCUs in the United States. We're very happy to have them join us. So I don't see Tania. I thought I saw her earlier.
I'm here.
There you are. Okay, the background threw me off. Sorry.
But I can go second.
Okay, and then is it Charlene or Charlene? I'm not sure.
Charlene is fine. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, the floor has been yielded to you, so please share.
Well, Tania already jumped in and she said she's going to go second, so I guess I'm I'm first. Well,
Okay.
good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I'm very excited to be in this company and hear about what is going on and the initiatives to come. So again, very much, and thank you, Dr. Wynn, for guiding us through this morning. It was very informative, so thank you for that. And it is lovely to see some familiar faces here that I met during my time in Colombia on the CCYK initiative. So again, really good to see you all and be here to be sharing. So again, I'm Charlene Chester. I'm from Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. I had the opportunity to participate in a CCYK initiative earlier, where my colleagues from Morgan and from other HBCUs had the opportunity to engage with institutions in Colombia for a few days. During that period of time, we got to know some of their faculty, the research that they are engaging in, and how we can foster collaborations between our institutions. From those engagements, we did have some projects coming out, so our faculty were able to do some COIL, some virtual engagements, and move forward with some research projects together. So certainly that initial engagement proved to be fruitful. I know one other project that I, along with Rebecca Gendele from UTC, Universidad Tecnología del Chocó Diego Luis Cordoba, engaged in through funding from ESATEX. We were able to have one of our faculty here from Morgan go over to the institution and do some English language training with their faculty from across the institution. And so we did that for a few months. They had some virtual sessions and then in-person sessions. And we're hoping to continue with our collaboration moving forward. At Morgan, we've also had some ideas grants where we've had the opportunity to bring students over from, I believe it was Guatemala, to come over to Morgan through that grant sponsorship. So I think that from our faculty here at Morgan, we are certainly very engaged and willing to engage more, and hoping that we can continue with this level of collaboration and increase moving forward. So I'll stop there and yield to my colleague.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll take questions after that, and I have a few questions for you as well. All right, Tania.
Sorry. I have a couple of slides. I need to get them over to this computer that I'm on. So if you give me 1 second, I will do that. And then we can have some visuals about the things that we've been doing in Colombia. I don't know, Jewel, how do you feel if I do it in Spanish? Would that be bad?
No. I have Linda, my assistant here, so she'll update me on anything that I did not understand.
I can do a little bit back and forth in Spanish, but I just feel like most of the people on the call are from Colombia, and so I want to make it as accessible as possible.
Please
okay, give me 1 second here, and disculpa que yo voy a presentar un slideshow, pero
tengo que transferirlo de mi desktop a mi laptop porque es desde aquí que estoy hablando con ustedes.
Is Deanna still on? You know how people jump around on the screen when we're in Zoom?
Yes, I'm here, Dr. Wynn.
Deanna, could you just, while we're waiting for Tania, can you just tell me a little, or us a little bit more about the music festival you were saying that's going to take place at the beginning of is that at the beginning of that week in Cali, or is it in Bogota?
No, it's in Cali, actually. It's in Cali, so the same city where the HBCU Summit will be hosted. And it's a music festival of the Pacific. So it brings together people from all over Colombia. And in the last years, it has also become very popular among foreigners. So it's a huge festival. I think probably my colleagues from Cali can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the largest music festival in Colombia, at least the one with the most attendees. I think it's very unique in the sense that it's in the streets. It's open to people everywhere in the city, even though it also has like a specific events closed, with tickets and everything. But the main, I would say, like principle of the festival is to host open activities. They and it is held in a I think it's like a sports venue, because it's the largest venue that they have in Cali. Probably if there is one of my colleagues from Cali, because I'm from Bogota, but Rosalind Vice, our cultural attaché, and I visited Cali a couple weeks ago to go see the venues, and I think it's one of the largest venues that they have in Cali where they host the festival, but probably one of my colleagues in Cali
Yes,
can correct me if
Diana,
I'm wrong.
I wanted to give more insight into what Diana is saying. Again, I'm Angie Preciado from Javeriana Cali. Petróleo Alvarez is a folkloric music festival that reunites all the colonies of the diasporic Afro-Colombian communities of the Colombian Pacific. That means the departments of Chocó, Valle del Cauca, Cauca, and Nariño. And although it's mainly a music festival, there's some spaces that are dedicated to like visual arts, food, design, and also hair expression and expression through hair, and the continuing of Afro-Colombian culture, especially Afro-Colombian from the Pacific. Yes, it is one of the biggest festivals in Colombia. It is the biggest folk festival in Colombia. And every year, with the support of private organizations, the colonies that compose the African diaspora here in Colombia, in the Pacific part of Colombia, and also the government, this festival has become bigger and bigger, to the extent that now we have international invites and groups that come from different parts of the diaspora, such as Ecuador, Brazil, and some African countries. Last year, I believe the African country that was invited was Gabon, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the festival has become bigger. It's a place of reunion for the people that come from that region of Colombia. And yeah, so you're all invited to it.
Well, thank you. I'm excited. I've been to the Monpos Jazz Festival. And I've also been to the flower festival. So I've been to Monpos and I've been to Medellin for both of those festivals. So now I can say I've been to that festival. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so it looks like Tania
Thank you.
is ready. All right, Tania, it's on you.
Bueno, gracias. Buenas tardes a todos y todas. Mi nombre es Tonia Hope. Yo soy la directora del Ralph Bunche International Affairs Center de Howard University aquí en Washington, D.C. Y yo llegué a las 2 de la mañana bueno, pasé la última semana en Colombia, en Cali, en Palenque y en Barranquilla. Y llegamos el sábado a Miami, pero no nos dejaron salir hasta anoche. Así que estoy regresando de Colombia ahora mismo para hablar con ustedes. Así que es un gusto para mí volver a esta reunión. Voy a compartir un poco sobre nuestra relación con Colombia. Voy a empezar con el programa Diaspora Connect, que es, como mencionó mi colega de Morgan State, un programa que hicimos con patrocinio del Departamento de Estado por 100,000 Strong in the Americas. Y nuestros aliados en esta iniciativa fue la UTC y la Universidad del Valle. Déjenme volver un segundito. Todos los programas que nosotros tenemos con Colombia, y son varios, las interacciones que tenemos y hemos tenido, lo hemos puesto bajo una sombría que se llama COL Avanza. Esa es una iniciativa que nosotros lanzamos porque nos dimos cuenta de que tuvimos muchos programas con Colombia. Entonces decimos, pues vamos a ponerle un nombre. Entonces, COL Avanza es el nombre de la iniciativa que lanzamos, yo creo que en el 2021, y ahí metemos todas las actividades que tenemos con diferentes entidades en Colombia. Y el primero, realmente el más robusto, vamos a decir, fue este que se llamaba Diaspora Connect, con estas dos instituciones que son fuertes aliados de nosotros. Y este programa lo lanzamos, fue una iniciativa de intercambio virtual al principio. Pusimos nuestros estudiantes en pareja con estudiantes de las dos instituciones en Colombia y tuvieron que hacer por lo menos 1 hora de intercambio virtual, practicando media hora en inglés y media hora en español entre los dos, cada estudiante en los dos países. Esto lo hicimos por un semestre, casi un año total, un año académico total. Y al final del año académico, los estudiantes de Estados Unidos viajaron a Colombia, fueron a Cali, y al final del verano, al principio del siguiente año académico, los estudiantes de Colombia vinieron aquí a Washington. Y durante todo ese tiempo, bueno, el intercambio virtual solo tenía que pasar durante el primer año académico, hasta que los estudiantes de Estados Unidos viajaron a Colombia. Pero he recibido recién noticias de que siguen en contacto unos de los estudiantes con sus parejas porque son amigos de verdad ahora, y eso realmente fue parte de la idea. Queríamos darle a los estudiantes un espacio en que los estudiantes podían explorar el espectro de identidades afros, más allá de su propia identidad afro, a través de elementos de diálogo, reconocimiento de cada uno de sus contextos históricos diferentes y realidades actuales, como una manera de fortalecer su liderazgo y construir puentes a través de la diáspora. Entonces aquí tenemos las fotos de los dos grupos en los dos países, como parte del programa. Aquí también la llegada de nuestros estudiantes en Cali, y foto en Cali, y luego una foto aquí frente a la Casa Blanca, y en el estado de Maryland, donde nació, en la ciudad donde nació Harriet Tubman. Eh, la idea de HUCOL, bueno, de Diaspora Connect, realmente era fortalecer el aprendizaje del idioma, tanto de inglés que de español, el desarrollo del liderazgo y la movilidad, que eso es importante, y que no sea solamente que los estudiantes de Estados Unidos van a Colombia. Queremos que los estudiantes de Colombia vengan a los Estados Unidos. Yo creo que eso es muy importante. No siempre tenemos los recursos para hacer las dos cosas, pero eso siempre debe ser el objetivo. Y así es para nosotros el objetivo, de que sea de dos vías cuando estamos hablando de movilidad. Estos son fotos de la semana pasada. Nosotros viajamos, yo viajé con colegas de la Facultad de Educación de Howard University y viajamos con estudiantes pre-servicio, estudiantes que están estudiando, que están en su último año, último semestre de formación de ser docente. Y visitamos a Colombia para conocer más, para que ellos conozcan más sobre el sistema educativo en Colombia. Aquí en Cali, ese enfrente del mural fue en la Escuela Nuevo Latir en Cali. Y aquí a mano derecha es uno de mis estudiantes con unos jóvenes eso es en Palmira, en el Instituto Educativo Jorge Eliezer Gaitán. Nos reunimos con el rector, muchos estudiantes, que nuestros estudiantes estaban más felices cuando tuvieron oportunidades como esta de estar con los niños. Y bueno, y regresamos, visitamos, perdón, además de Cali y Palmira, visitamos a Miranda. Tuvimos la oportunidad de pasar un tiempo en una escuela muy, muy pequeña, pero súper linda, Escuela Tulipán en Miranda. Y de ahí conocimos un poco más, una escuela un poco más grande, también en Miranda. Y nuestros estudiantes súper felices de conocer la forma de enseñar en Colombia, especialmente en la escuela Tulipán. Conocieron, o sea, la maestra ahí tenía estudiantes de todas las edades, y, o sea, aprender cómo ella maneja una aula así fue muy importante para nuestros estudiantes. Además de todo eso, nosotros tenemos alianzas también con la Universidad de Santiago de Cali y, y tuvimos otro grupo de Howard University que estaba en Medellín también la semana pasada, trabajando con una organización allí que se llama Origin y Culture, y estaban en la Universidad de Antioquia, reunidos con estudiantes afro de allí. Y hemos tenido varios intercambios con estudiantes, con diferentes universidades, nuestra Facultad de Educación, Facultad de Derecho y Facultad de Negocio, y ahora la Facultad de Artes y Ciencias, todos han tenido algún proyecto o programa en Colombia. Y la idea de la iniciativa HU-COL Avanza realmente es abrazar a Colombia desde Howard University. Y la idea de nosotros es cómo podemos, como Howard University, abrazar y ayudar a avanzar las comunidades afrodescendientes en Colombia. y cómo podemos avanzar juntos como afrodescendientes y cómo podemos reconocer nuestras conexiones a través de fronteras, a través de idiomas, etcétera. Y bueno, yo estoy muy feliz que voy a estar en Bogotá ahora, en la Universidad de Externado, enseñando un curso a la invitación de esta institución. Así que tenemos muchos vínculos con Colombia, pero siempre hay espacio para más. Em, y estoy feliz saber que Morgan State y tanto Tennessee State y Prairie View y otros de mis colegas aquí de las HBCUs ya tienen proyectos en camino en Colombia. Eso siempre fue la idea. Yo soy parte de CAPRI, que es el acuerdo bilateral entre Colombia y Estados Unidos, y yo llevo muchos años trabajando en eso. Y el memorando de entendimiento que mencionó al principio fue un resultado de muchos años de trabajo, de tratar de establecer más vínculos entre las HBCUs y instituciones en Colombia. Así que, bueno, yo podría hablar mucho más de muchas más cosas, pero voy a dejarlo ahí para que hablemos y muchas gracias por su atención.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. So we want to give our guests, our participants rather, an opportunity to ask you all questions. So
Jewel, may I just jump back on the floor to share a little bit more about our program over at UTC?
yes, please.
Oh, okay. Can I share my screen?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, and thank you for the time. So I just wanted to share a little bit more about our project. Okay, our project over with UTC, supported by the ISATEX grant on raising awareness, building bridges, and strengthening identities beyond borders through internationalization. Okay. So the goal of that was to promote English as a second language at UTC and with research engagement. So what we were doing certainly was strengthening the relation between these two institutions. We do have a signed memorandum of understanding between our institutions prior to the engagement of this project. And so we were working on English as a foreign language, pedagogy of teaching through promotion of the internationalization of the curriculum while we were at UTC. In that program, we did daily workshops for 2 weeks with the faculty participants. So we had 25 faculty at UTC participating in this program from education sciences and the natural sciences that certainly facilitated that intercultural dialogue and how we can promote internationalization of the curriculum through that. We motivated and strengthened capacity as one of the goals of the program that we had between the UTC teachers and our Morgan faculty here. And so I did share about this and our memorandum of understanding. These are just some highlights, some picture highlights, just quick, of the faculty that we engaged with on a daily basis at UTC throughout their campus. This is our faculty lead here with some of the participants, and these are the different campuses, different areas of the campus that we visited throughout that. just briefly, what we intend to do as our next steps will continue to engage in this cultural and linguistic immersion with the 50 teachers generally working in smaller groups to strengthen English as a second language in that population. The second goal, again, was to support faculty and student engagement through research and experiential opportunities. From that, our faculty were invited to present their research to faculty and students and staff at Morgan State University, deliver these presentations online. Our students here at Morgan were invited to engage in a biographical short story contest. So we were particularly excited to have our students be invited to engage in that contest at Universidad Autónoma de Occidente, and apologies for the pronunciation there. Our next steps will be to continue to share research opportunities, to engage in COIL, the Collaborative Online International Learning, and to develop international experiential learning programs to Colombia. And that was just my brief addition there. Thank you.
Well, that was good. Thank you for sharing that. So let's open up the floor for questions. I would like the universities to ask questions instead of me first. I don't see anything in the chat. Deanna?
Dr. Wynn, thank you. I don't have a question. I would like to add a comment. Thank you, Dr. Chester, for the information you provided on your project. I would like to add that this amazing project that Dr. Chester was talking about was implemented through another project financed by the U.S. Embassy here in Colombia in cooperation with CCYK. So from the embassy, we have really been investing in several initiatives, and all of that to give the opportunity to institutions to build these amazing programs and to make those great ideas become a reality. And we really look forward to seeing these programs evolve and become a solid, long-standing relationship between Colombian and American institutions. Thank you. And we know many institutions have other programs probably that we haven't heard about, or programs or other ideas that you have. We are not the only source of funding. We are not the only source of connection between institutions, but we are really trying to offer you the best we can to support you both in the US and here in Colombia. So apart from these activities that we host, we are always open to receive your questions or to receive new ideas, contributions. So please count on us. And also we know for some institutions in Colombia and also in the US, some institutions have more capacity, probably more experience. And we really encourage you to share that experience as you have been doing here, but also to share that experience and help your colleagues, accompany your colleagues who don't have the same experience or who don't have the same capacity, to please accompany them, help them, provide you support so we can advance all of us together. And thank you for sharing the information. Sorry, I see Giovanni also with his hand raised.
Right, Giovanni, and then I also want to share an experience, but go ahead, Giovanni.
Yeah, very quickly, I just wanted to mention that even when CCYK has been leading certain projects with HBCUs, this does not restrict other universities not belonging to CCYK to participate in these type of initiatives. So that's very important to say, because maybe if an institution not part of CCYK would like to know or to get to know the experience of a university that has gone through a project with HBCUs, they can contact us and share those practices to actually trigger the potential collaboration of a university not part of CCYK. That's very important to say.
Yes, thank you. And for example, we did not receive any funding from a couple of initiatives that we had with TDA and University of AFID. And we did an initiative called Cultural Immersion Initiative, CI Squared. And that's where we paired 10 students from each university with each other. And so those 10 students would come to the US, to TSU, with their faculty member and participate in a research project. And we did like a small research symposium and had their project judged by some faculty members on campus. And then, so they did the academic piece in the morning, and then in the evening, they would do cultural activities. And then we had a closing ceremony and we announced the winners of the research symposium and things like that. And then we came to Colombia for 10 days with 10 students and did the same thing. So our universities both supported payment. So when they came to the US, TSU paid for everything except for their airfare. And when we came to Colombia, the university, TDA and AFE paid for everything except our airfare transportation. So we had to be really creative in our funding model to make sure that the project worked. And this is what went on for at least 5 years with both of those institutions in Colombia. So again, we just have to think as though there's not a box and come up with very innovative ways to make the projects happen when we don't have the support of the embassy or CCYK or ISATEX or any of those institutions. It's the desire to want to work together so much that we will make it happen. So I want to open up the floor again for questions for Tania and for Charlene. Is there a question in the chat? Let's see.
Hi, Tunisia. I just realized you were here. It's good to see you. Sorry.
I can't tell. Camilo, are there questions in the chat?
Not in the chat, but I see Angie that has the raised hand.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I wanted to first give like hi to Charlene. We met last year during one of the CCYK initiatives, and her visit here was amazing to Javieriana Cali. She was also able to visit Universidad del Valle and ICESI as well. My question to you all, as part of the HBCUs in the United States, and you giving us like a context of the projects that you have been making with universities in Colombia, I see that they are centered on language, on learning English as a second language and Spanish as a second language. Is there like an opening to other types of programs, maybe centered on economic, social sciences, research, etc.?
Yes, our project wasn't focused on language, and but that's always because language is a barrier to success of certain projects. The focus for us wasn't on language, but the focus was for Charlene on language. And Tania, was yours focused on language?
The Diaspora Connect was pretty language focused. It was a centerpiece just because, I mean, I've been working in Colombia for a long time, and I know that English language learning is critical. I know it's a priority and has been a priority of current administration, pretty sure the previous administration in Colombia. So we knew that it was important. I've seen it be important, but especially important for Black communities in Colombia who don't have access to really quality English language instruction in school, and it's cost prohibitive to go to private places that teach English at a high level. So for that reason, language was the key, and all of the things that I just said apply to our students in the US who are not learning Spanish at the levels that they should be as well. So that was kind of the real reason for the language focus, but we're definitely open to other things. I mean, there's so many things that we have to address in terms of Black communities in particular. So I know our College of Arts and Sciences has recently launched a new department called Earth Equity and the Environment, looking specifically at environmental justice. And so I would love to have that department do something in Colombia. My goal with COL-US is that if I had my way, all of our 14 schools and colleges at Howard would have a project or program in collaboration with an institution in Colombia. That's my goal. I'm up to 4 at this point. We've got a little bit more work to do, but there's plenty of time.
Yes, my question about that was raised because here at Javeriana Cali, we have 3 associated centers we have Instituto de Estudios Interculturales that has a basis on research and a dialogue with indigenous farmer and Afro-Colombian communities here in the southwest part of the country, and their focus are not only on sustainability but also on peace work. And we have a great participation of students from our undergraduate and our graduates programs too. On the second hand, we have OMICA's Institute that it's most focused on engineer students, and what they do at OMICAS is develop seeds in a way that are not only sustainable but that respond to the need for better crops to resolve world hunger. And on the third side, we have Centro de Riqueza Completa, that it's a center from our School of Economics and Businesses, and they are centered on researching along with professors and students and other allied institutions, innovative, inclusive, and sustainable ways that we can build wealth in our communities. And I think, and I want to open these initiatives that we have to your universities and to your students.
Right. Charlene, I think you're muted.
Oh, I am? Oh.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to echo what Tania said. This was certainly just one of the projects that was highlighted here that was focused on English language, but we are certainly open to projects with other faculty from different disciplines across the institution. Absolutely. I know when we had that, engaged in that amazing initiative earlier, some of our faculty, of course, from our Department of World Languages and International Studies did engage there, and then it was certainly around language, but we had some other faculty from our School of Engineering also in discussing different projects. So we are certainly open, I believe, to engaging in other types of initiatives.
Yes, and I see you, Deanna. Our Intensive English Center at Tennessee State University, we're the only accredited HBCU with an accredited ESL program. So every year we bring teachers, at least 30 teachers from Colombia, to Tennessee State University for the summer to participate in a language program. So again, we have to be very creative. And the other programs that we had were not focused on language. So I think I would be okay to say that all of our HBCUs are willing to look at various projects because we all have so many different, we call them colleges, you all call them faculties, but we all have so many different colleges that taking us, like Tania, myself, Torian, who serve in SIO roles, to communicate with the deans of those colleges to let them know what opportunities exist in Colombia. So that's why this is so important that we have this dialogue. I'm going to switch to Deanna real quick.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen. I have 2 comments. One, regarding the focus on language that you already said, yeah, it was more it came out as a need more than a requirement or a request for the programs. But I wanted to highlight that as well as we find that Colombian students need a bit more focus in English language. It's also a priority for the Colombian government to offer opportunities for American students to learn Spanish. So we anticipate that we will probably have more programs for students from HBCUs to come to Colombia to learn Spanish or to improve their Spanish. Again, this is not a requirement, but it's a trend that we see. And my second comment was regarding the topics. You're all big institutions, you have different colleges, as Dr. Wing was saying. So just a reminder that this is why we are doing these sessions, this workshop, and as well as other activities that we'll be hosting. These activities, these sessions will help you identify from each of your institutions which will be the priority areas that you would like to work on. And you have an endless list of topics or ideas. However, for the summit, and I want to be clear regarding the summit, we identified 4 big topics, but that's only for the summit. Of course, if you have ideas in a different topic and another different new program, of course, we are open to hear about it. And we encourage you to contact colleagues in Colombia or from the US to contact your colleagues in the US, in Colombia or in the US to develop that idea and create a new program. It's just that for the summit, we wanted to have 4 big topics, so we'll be more concrete on the outcomes of the summit. Remember also that we will have other follow-up activities for the summit, so there will be more opportunities for you to also develop programs in different topics. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, we are out of time for this session, and I'm sure if you have questions that you can send them through CCYK. Giovanni will make sure that those questions get to us and we can email back and forth. But I think this has been really good, and we really appreciate Tania and Charlene sharing those examples of successful projects at their universities. And again, it's 103 HBCUs, and this is a small representation here today of the vast majority of institutions that we have with a focus on African-American students and their success. So with that being said, we are ready to switch to our last panel discussion of the morning. And I know I saw Charity Clay earlier, so I don't know if she's still here. She should be, I'm sure.
I'm here.
Perfect. There you are. All right. So you've had an opportunity to meet Tania. And if you were on the call earlier, you got to meet Torian Lee. But I will tell you, Torian is the Director of Global Learning and International Programs at Norfolk State University. He has been around for a very long time, just like Tania has, and myself. And then we have Charity Clay, who is on the Faculty of Sociology at Xavier University in Louisiana. So we are very, very honored to have them join us today. And we are going to just start with some questions, and I will direct the questions to you individually. And if I want all of you to answer, I'll say the same question. So thank you again this morning for joining us. So for the first question I want to ask is that, well, Tania has already shared with us a unique experience, but are there some existing models or programs for international collaboration that we have not already discussed? I know that, like I said, Tania and Charlene shared, but Torian, do you have one that you would like to share with us right now?
Well, okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Again, Torian Lee from Norfolk State University. Happy to be here. I've had the pleasure of visiting Colombia once. There's an organization called ISN, which goes down and they foster high school recruitment fairs for Colombian students to come to the United States. So I got to go to Medellin and Bogota. So, but yeah, happy to be a part of the discussion and looking forward to going back to Colombia and going back to New Orleans as well to meet some of you who are going to be there. I used to work with Charity at Xavier. So good to see you again, Charity. So some of the other programs, I know when I was at Xavier, we collaborated with our College of Pharmacy on one of the 100,000 strong initiatives to Latin America. And we worked hard on a proposal. Unfortunately, it wasn't funded, but you know, we tell people all the time, follow the U.S. government and where they are appropriating funding throughout their agencies in the federal government, state agencies, local or nonprofits, you know, and so basically the types of grants that are available are always tied to one or multiple departments or colleges and schools on your campus. And it's just a matter of connecting the folks on your campus with collaborators in the host country. Oftentimes you'll need letters of recommendation from each side or letters of support and you know, building of the project that you hope to get funded. So outside of that, we've tapped into the Fulbright, it's called the Outreach Lecturer Fund, or yeah, I think it's called the Outreach Lecturer Fund. So current Fulbrighters in the country, if we see them, we want to bring them to campus. The U.S. government will pay for it, and they can spend a few days on our campus talking about everything Colombia. There was some good points mentioned earlier about inundating our U.S. campuses, inundating our Colombia campuses with the others' culture, all right? And so there's so many places for a young person who's thinking about study abroad or internships or research where they could go. And so why not put Colombia on their mind? And the best way to do that is the faculty. And so they're looking looking to the faculty and soaking up everything they're saying. And so this whole thing doesn't work without faculty. So I've gone on too much, but there are lots of opportunities to connect. And if I think of some others, I'll let you know.
Thank you, Torian. Charity, let me ask you this. So DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, all of those acronyms are just the hot buzzwords right now. But in red states like Tennessee, in a Republican state like Tennessee, there's trying to be, there are efforts being put forth with silencing anything relative to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging for political reasons that we don't have time to get into. But it is somewhat troublesome for us at historically Black colleges because we know we need to have these conversations. So in thinking about that, how can we on our campuses, and specifically there at Xavier, create an inclusive and supportive environment for students and faculty from both sides participating in exchange programs?
Thank you for the question. My connection is a little unstable, so I'm gonna hopefully not turn my camera on, but I'll see. So I think a couple of things. I think it depends on the city environment or the local environment that you're a part of. I think one thing that separates New Orleans, where Xavier is that although the state of Louisiana is a very conservative and very red state, there's this city that still embraces culture, specifically aspects of African culture in the city of New Orleans. So I think that strength in the local environment allows us to have a little bit more leeway to show the beauty of diversity initiatives or inclusion initiatives because it's welcome here in the city. Statewide, it's not the same, so we run into some conflict with that. But I think it's specifically on campus, it's being intentional, creating programs for our students to be introduced through various disciplines and classes, but also extracurricular activities. I think on campus this week, there's actually an Afro-Puerto Rican like Bamba event just to introduce students, because I think even though sometimes as faculty and even as administrators, we may be deterred from engaging these topics, they can't deter the students from being. So my idea is create spaces on campus and in the community where the students are pushing for the questions that us as educators are obligated to address, right? I think that making sure we celebrate the connections between our cultures in different locations, making sure students see themselves reflected in different parts of the world, and as much as we can, inviting faculty, students, administration, culture bearers to be a part of our community to enhance the opportunities that our students have.
That's great. That's great. So Tania, what are some of the strategies that you've used for measuring the success and the long-term impact of your partnerships? Do you have any strategies that you would like to share?
We haven't really done them extremely long term, so we don't really have any strategies of that nature. As I mentioned earlier, the fact that a student of mine from the Diaspora Connect program emailed me last week because she was trying to figure out how to get her partner in Colombia, who I think is at Univalle, to come to Howard on an exchange program, and for her to tell me that, oh yeah, we're still talking, 2 years later, for me is a great evaluation. Like, even if it's just one of my students who's still in touch with one of the students, like, for me, that's a win. So now that, I think that we have some time behind us, to be able to go back to the Diaspora Connect group and see who among them is still in touch, how are they still interacting? I think that's something that we're going to look to do. And I was actually, when I was in Colombia last week, one of my faculty colleagues is in our data science program. And so I'm going to figure out how to leverage his skill set to figure out how a lot of our relationships with Colombia, maybe there's some data that we can extract from those relationships over the last couple of years or last few years that might tell us some interesting stories about our engagement. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now.
Okay, thank you. Torian, how are you assessing the success of your exchanges and partnerships?
Right. So I'm into my second year, or actually my third year in Norfolk State. And we've had, the first year was COVID. So we sent one student. Last year we sent 75 students, and we're hoping to send over 100 this semester. But, stepping back and saying, what is the strategic plan for our campus internationalization efforts, and how to assess the goals and outcomes that we put forth as the objectives of all of this? And so, I look to the majority institutions for a lot of this information because they've gotten it correct, right? And so they have, from on the back end, alumni associations in other countries, right? They have folks who've transitioned into the country, to the United States, to be professors under the H-1B and then get citizenship and are set on the campus, inundating the campus with that particular country that they've come from, their culture. There's multiple study abroad programs, research in various areas. Their graduates are in the federal government, state government, local government, private industry. So when the applications come across their desk, bias is in play, and those applications continue to get funded. And so this is an important reason why we're here today, to try to diversify the opportunity for the young folks who will eventually be the professionals, right, connecting Colombia and the United States, right? And so my whole thought process is giving them the widest range of options possible, right? And so exposing them to these small opportunities, curriculum and co-curriculum, curricular opportunities will allow them to see, more than just, local or within their state. And so it's very important in their development. And that's how we're going to measure the success, right? We'll have to look down the line. There are also opportunities to go to grad school. Some of our partners around the world, we're working with them to offer the one-year masters. I heard that mentioned earlier today, so we'll be on that, talking to our career services center and all the deans in the colleges, to work with students to at least introduce this to them. So again, this is an option, but data collection, will be the source of how we determine if we're making, any strides. But it's a lot of difficult work, and it's all about the people on the campus and the SIOs, who are the connectors between, governments and institutions and faculty and students. So it's pretty broad, the answer, but that's the way I look at it from the bird's eye view.
Yeah, that's great. Data is always a good source for us, especially when we're going back to our administration to ask for support. Um, Charity, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think for me as a sociologist, it becomes important that we plan assessment in the programming. So as we start to create initiatives, we want to ask on the front end, what are we using to measure success? How do we want to collect data? I think with these type of engagements, qualitative data is going to be far richer, but also understanding that sometimes funders and administrators prefer to look at quantitative data. So making sure that we have, whether, so one thing I do is have my students, when I travel with students before, posting on their Instagram story, because that's data. So whatever we do during the day, or making sure that dialogue amongst students, of course with consent, but is available for folks to see, right? If you have a bunch of students from different countries and backgrounds and interests in a chat, having conversation, that's data that can show, sometimes better than the numbers can, the actual impact on students. And what one of my colleagues mentioned is also longevity, right? As we start to develop lasting partnerships, looking at the impact that students may be having from these experiences that aren't directly related to our institutions, right? If they make a lifelong friend, that's a connection. If they start to consider graduate education in another country, even if it's not the country that they had the partnership with, I think all of those things should be considered as assessment of the wonderful things that these type of exchanges can provide.
Absolutely. And I shared yesterday an example that we do a pre and post survey or a pre and post assessment with our students and our faculty and our community partners. As part of our accreditation process, all of us have to establish goals and objectives and then targets and go through a quarterly assessment. And it's important, as you say, to get that done during the project. So we assess the students on their intercultural competency skills before, and then we assess it afterwards to see if that particular objective was met. We also do the same thing with our faculty and with our community partners if we take community partners with us. This is the data that we use to improve. And if we see that there are some gaps in the understanding of our students, faculty, and community partners, then we have to pivot. We have to do something differently. So I think there's always room for assessment of our initiatives, because this is the data that a lot of funders and grantors need when they are looking to provide funding, is that they want to see the data. But we need to be able to share the stories as well. So the qualitative piece is also very important. So thank you so much for sharing that. So with that being said, speaking of funding, we know that funding can be a barrier to exchanges and partnerships. And I've always told my students and my colleagues that I have learned very well to use other people's money, but sometimes other people's money is not always available. So if we look past the funding barrier, what other barriers do you see are preventing us from doing the best we can do with our colleagues in Colombia? Tania, I'll start with you.
I think language is a barrier. I think that I think the language is a barrier on both sides, in both directions. And it's unfortunate, but I think it is something that we have to face. So I'm hopeful that we can figure out ways to overcome that. I think on I'm reluctant to say this out loud because I don't want to like speak it into more reality, but some of our students are scared to travel. And I think that that is a barrier that we don't talk about a lot. I think we know, those of us at HBCUs know that some of our students are concerned about travel, but even the students that I went with right now last week, I took 10 students there, and not all of them were like jumping for joy at the thought of going. Now, when they came back, different situation, but getting them there in the first place was not easy. And it was essentially a fully funded trip. So the funding wasn't an option, like an issue. It was just a fear. And so a fear of unknown, a fear of, I don't know what, but a fear. And I really have yet to encounter that in Colombia. I don't think I've ever met a student in Colombia who is not itching for an opportunity to go. So I think it's an interesting dynamic that we have to figure out how to overcome among our students. I mean, I think we do, but there are still more students than I would care to admit that are concerned about traveling. So those are the two barriers that I think is being most challenging.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'll share this quick story. When we brought some students from Monpos, the embassy funded the students to come from Monpos El Guamo, to come to the US. And they were so excited when they got there. And one of the people that came with them, one of the adults, said that when they landed in the United States and they got to one of the bathrooms, and you know how you put your hand up to the paper towels and the paper towels starts coming down electronically, and this was years ago, it frightened them so bad that the baby started crying. I mean, the kid was only like 17 years old or whatever, but he had never seen an electronic touch-like paper towel thing. So again, it's those intercultural types of things that we need to prepare our students for. But the research shows that fear and finances are the biggest barriers to study abroad for students in the United States. So it would be interesting to hear some of that from our colleagues on the Colombian side. Torian, what do you consider barriers, if there's anything other than the finances and the fear?
Yeah, so yeah, finances for sure, because most of the students at my institution, it's the largest HBCU in Virginia with nearly 6,000 students. 90% of those students are Pell eligible, meaning their families only make a total of $50,000, after the adjusted gross income. So, and that coupled with purpose, right? And so we talk about young people in the home being inundated with certain types of information, study abroad, or how global systems work for a particular type of profession. I mean, these things aren't talked about. Encouraging, discovery beyond what's talked about in class. You don't see your parents, for the most part, in these roles, or maybe not speaking two languages, or maybe not discussing the breadth and depth of different professions. And so when they get to college, it's all about just surviving in college and, whatever the latest trends are, and matriculating through school and trying to get a job. And so I'm trying to change that at my HBCU and say, hey, we're trying to build leaders here. And so in order to be a leader, you've got to know the depth and breadth of a subject matter, not only from the Virginia standpoint, not only from the United States standpoint, but from the hemisphere that you're in, and also how it works around the world. And so once you go on that discovery quest, you're going to be more comfortable when the opportunity comes to go abroad, because you see there's purpose in it. If I want to learn these things firsthand that my instructors are talking about, or my community is talking about, because they want to propel me to be a leader, then I'm going to be more interested and not as fear. You still may be fearful, right? But you're going to have a little bit more courage to get in there and do it. I went to an HBCU, Virginia State University. My parents went here, Norfolk State University. And so there was no mention of study abroad at either one of these institutions, right? But the universities down the street, are sending people abroad all the time. And so you notice you have people of a particular hue who are representing all of us in the United States abroad, right? And so there's limited, vision on what it means to be an African American. We're only like in certain compartments, right? But that's because on the front end, we're not inundated with the information we need to give us that courage to do things like study abroad, to push our universities to open up more opportunity. And so that, coupled with the faculty members who graduated from Howard or Norfolk State or Harvard who teach our students, right? They've got to be more open as well and fight for the curriculum to be more expanded, to allow for the courses taking in Colombia during the semester to transfer back towards degree requirements. So it doesn't delay graduation, and vice versa, right? So faculty are the key. And because students are coming to our HBCUs from school systems that may not be the best, the parents are looking to us to engage the students, to propel them to leadership. And so we have a big task on our hands. And I say that's the real challenge, is to try to, formulate in the young person's mind the importance of going to Columbia, developing the toolkit of skills to propel them to success post-grad. I'll be quiet.
Oh, very well said. Thank you so much. I want to say something. I'm going to go on to Charity. Charity, any other thoughts on barriers?
Yeah, of course. I think that the language barrier, the finances barrier, but I think that informing HBCU communities about the infrastructure that it takes to develop and sustain these programs is where I know my institution and others may be lacking. And my concern with this is that the exchanges sometimes aren't mutually beneficial for both student groups, both faculty groups, both institutions. I was working with UTB in Cartagena to do an exchange, and they pretty much said, I worked with a professor there to put together a curriculum. We put together some activities, and the office there said, just bring your students, right? They already had a community of folks that did homestays. They already had connections with transportation. They already had some folks in the city to say, oh, well, if these are some things you want to do, we already have people on the ground who can provide those opportunities. And I think one of the barriers that we have as HBCUs is not many of our institutions have that infrastructure to tell a Colombian university, just bring your students, they'll be taken care of. There's courses. If there's language barriers or other issues, we have what they need to make sure that they don't have to worry about anything but enjoying the amazing, very unique HBCU culture that they come for. So for me, it's how do we get housing? How do we get dining services? How do we get departments, programs, student services at the HBCUs on board to understand that we need to create an infrastructure that will allow us to bring students in? Because when I talk to students in Cartagena, in Bogota, Afro-Colombian students, they get so excited at the potential of attending an institution where they are the majority, where they can feel affirmed, which is the same reason that students in the US attend HBCUs. So I think that, with the history that HBCUs have of welcoming international students, we need to tap back into that so they can be exchanges that happen on both sides.
Very well said. It has taken a while for us to get that infrastructure in place at TSU. Again, being very creative, trying to find all the funding that I could outside to help put it in place. But once the university embraced it, they got it, and they saw the benefit of being able to do these collaborations, especially in South America, because it was so easy to get to. As we look to our last question before we open it up, I wanted to ask you all about curriculum development just a little bit. So for me now, we've done a lot of the cultural types of things, and we do add cultural immersion into each of our projects. But the main thing, to Torian's point, is making sure that our students graduate, right? They must graduate. They must be following a curriculum map. So in the days of now, all of the AI, the chat GPT 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, technology is the new sexy. How can we utilize the technology on our campuses to help enhance these collaborations and partnerships as we look to reach out to some of the universities that you see here on the call? And I will start with Tania.
I knew you were going to do that. I think I've been slow to embrace COIL, but I think COIL is probably a great way to start. Figuring out how to identify projects and things that, because I think that, so here's what's tricky for me. I love Colombia. I will partner with Colombia all day, every day, all the time. Not a problem. But I'm just me, and I am in the International Affairs Center. What is going to make this work is if faculty in my 14 schools and colleges love Colombia as much as I do. And so, or even just a fraction would be sufficient. And so there's not a huge familiarity with Colombia, and thus probably not many contacts with colleagues in Colombia. And so, and part of that, everything is connected for me. Part of that is the language barrier. Because if our faculty aren't speaking Spanish and your faculty aren't speaking English, then they're probably not talking to each other. So how are they going to collaborate? How are they even going to think about collaborating? I mean, I hear Dr. Clay on here. She's figured it out, so that's great. But you know, on the larger grand scheme of things, a majority of our faculty don't speak Spanish. And so for me, it's a question of trying to help them see the benefits, the importance of looking beyond the partners that you as a faculty member are familiar with, and how are we going to get them interested in some other places, some other institutions, etc. And so I think the summit is going to be very helpful to that end. I certainly am I have a meeting with the deans tomorrow of all of our schools and colleges. I'm going to tell them about this conversation, and I'm going to see if I can get a bunch of them to come along with hopefully the president and our provost. So I would like to make a huge delegation from Howard to come down to summit. And so that, but you know, if I could have my way, I would get faculty members to come to the summit as well, because it's the faculty members that really need to connect with faculty members in Colombia, because they're the ones who, when they have the connection, is when things really fly. You know, me in an international center, I could sing this till I'm blue in the face about let's partner with Colombia, but if it's not a faculty member that is going for it and is 100% bought into that, it won't go anywhere. So I actually had conversations while I was in Colombia last week with some folks about some really interesting different projects that are not necessarily focused on language and culture. So I'm looking forward to exploring that more. But yeah, I'll stop there.
Okay, Torian.
Okay. Yes, everything Tania said. No, in addition, well, I like COIL. Currently, we're working with the UK to partner professors to compete for a grant to promote a COIL opportunity. But yeah, the language barrier is something. A lot of institutions in the United States maybe not the Research One institutions, but many institutions are minimizing the foreign languages, requirements, right? And so my current institution, I'm not sure if Xavier still has that, but when I was there, they cut out the requirement for Spanish for all majors. And so it has an impact. So we have to figure out a way on our campuses to reverse that, maybe not directly in the curriculum, but the co-curricular activities. For example, we're looking at a language lab where it would just be a dedicated space in our global center and a dedicated time each week or several times in which students are able to come into the office and work with the lab on language activities, right, in anticipation for going to the foreign country, the Spanish-speaking country. And although maybe the programs may be in English, it's always great to learn Spanish, and it may promote them into learning Spanish and taking courses in Spanish. The second thing is I'm chair of the Faculty Senate International Programs Committee, and we've developed regional subcommittees, right? And so there's a subcommittee for Latin America. That's one of the committee. And so people from faculty from around the different disciplines who are, want to put out ideas on how we can engage, in the Americas should support a number of new initiatives coming forward. But we have to be creative because, again, talking about students wanting to graduate in a certain amount of time, a lot of schools are reducing the curriculum to get them out. So we've got to make sure while they're there, we can do curricular and co-curricular activities. We're promoting the Fulbright. Oftentimes we're asking students to consider the ETA, English Teaching Assistant Program, and we know that you have to have a certain level of Spanish to compete for those countries in Latin America and also in Spain if you're going to teach English in those countries. And so piggybacking off of the opportunities post-grad that we want during the undergrad experience to prepare students for. So again, what is the goal and the outcome is to equip you with a toolkit of skills, and language acquisition. It's one of the tools that gives you more opportunity post-grad. I always talk to my nurses, my pre-nursing students. A lot of Spanish speakers are coming to the United States. If you have two candidates with the same GPA and experience, and one speaks Spanish in addition to English, you can service more people, right? People are looking for problem solvers, and problem solving pays, right? And so you're implementing one of the 17 sustainable goals from the UN, and you're also doing a great service to your fellow American, and you can do more with the Spanish language when you add culture to it. So there's so many things we can do on campus, and that's the fun part of the job, is trying to figure out how we can engage the different countries, different regions of the world to make our students better post-grad.
Thank you. And lastly, Charity?
Sure. I think I'm realizing now that I'm one of the few actual faculty members. So when we talk about technology and curriculum, for me, because and it may be my discipline, but also my training, right? I'm a sociologist of Africa and the African diaspora. So there's never a time where I'm not going to talk about sociology within an international context, or talk about Black history or Black studies in an international context. The beauty of technology is that it allows me to bring in colleagues that I have in other countries, films from other countries, to introduce students in a familiar way to be open to understanding things. I show a film and it'll be in Spanish and they'll read subtitles. And some of my students say, dang, man, I wish I knew Spanish, right? So that starts a conversation through technology about them wanting to engage. Additionally, it allows for different type of collaborations that are discipline specific, where students can learn tools. As a data scientist, the technology we have to collect and analyze and present data is becoming amazing, right? I'm currently working on a project looking at Palenque as Pan-Africanism, right? So that's qualitative interviews, it's also mapping, it's also statistics. And those are the type of projects that I collaborate with colleagues in Colombia and can bring our students into these projects, which allow us to have longer collaborations, because even if we're not in the same space at the same time, students can work on a document together. So there's technology allows us to sustain and extend our collaborations in ways that hopefully can encourage students to figure out the language barrier. Unfortunately, as Torian did mention, Xavier has removed the language requirement from graduation, so it becomes difficult. But what I do is I make sure that any classes that I try to link with study abroad are in our core curriculum. So students are taking classes that can allow them for study abroad or COIL exchanges within the context of whatever their degree plan is. So they're not feeling like, oh, I want to do this, but I might get behind if I take this opportunity. So anytime I design a class or an opportunity, I make sure that it is fulfilling major requirements or university requirements.
Thank you. So I just want to share a little bit more about the technology aspect, and you're not alone. I have a faculty line as well, Charity. I also just became an AI fellow, and so I am all up in AI right now. But what we have found that has been beneficial and what I think will help us as we're thinking about ways to partner and collaborate is that some of the AI bots and different software is allowing us to translate the information. So if we were to create a project where the students were working together pre-departure, they could actually develop a document together. They could develop this project together, and it could be translated into both languages. And then when they get in country together, they would be able to use that technology to develop an amazing capstone. There's just so much out there. And again, we just need to be very open-minded and willing to go into spaces that are unknown and unfamiliar to us. And when we do that, the students will follow. The students follow the faculty. So if we can, to Tania's point, get those faculty excited about what we're trying to do in Colombia, then the students will have so many opportunities. And if we also start exploring artificial intelligence ourselves, you would be surprised at what would come out of that. And I'm not saying that you're not, but I just got into it over the last year, and it has been absolutely amazing. It's also allowed our students to think so much quicker than they were before. And the whole translation thing has helped our international students immensely with navigating the language barriers that exist for them, and to see them to be able to develop things in a matter of seconds, and then check their references alongside that, and then double check the references alongside that. It's just been mind-blowing. There's a lot of tools that are out there now, and we need to be ready for that. And what I was mentioning yesterday to the group is that we need to be able to meet these students where they are. So the students are all about technology. Just to give you an example, there is a pen that is about to come out, and that it will be attached to your clothes, and that pen will project everything that you need to know into your hand. So away goes the phone. So now you can get phone calls, you can get messages, you can get emails, you can ask for research, and that information will pop up just like that on your hand. And that was shown to us just last week. And it's like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about carrying a phone around. I'll just have this little pen on, and there's all of my technology right in the palm of my hands. It will show up like you've seen on these movies before. So ladies and gentlemen, we must expand our way of thinking and find ways to get these students excited about other cultures, Colombia, the United States, but embrace the technology and use the technology to bring these cultures together and not allow language to be the barrier as to why we're not making the partnership work. So with that being said, we want to open the floor up to any other questions for the panelists. I want to thank each one of you for using your time on this terrific Tuesday to share with the Colombian universities. So, questions in the chat, Camilo?
Let me see. Okay. No, I can see. Wait to. No. Thank you very much for the invitation. I can see questions in the chat.
Okay.
While he's looking for questions, can I say something, Jewel? This is Torian.
Yes, please.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
yes, I'll definitely be at Norfolk State. I'll definitely be at NAFSA in New Orleans in May. Looking forward to it. I'm bringing the dean of our College of Liberal Arts and the dean of our College of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And so prior to going to NAFSA, I'm going to work with them to get a list of all the current research being done in those two large schools. And so I can present that to my Colombian colleagues who will be at the meeting. And they'll be there as well to talk about their college and school. And so we're going to make this a priority meeting during NAFSA. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Yes, me too. I'm looking forward to NAFSA. I just made all the reservations yesterday or one day. I don't know. I just registered. Any other questions? We want to hear from our Colombian counterparts. Everybody's so quiet, or is everybody asleep? Or everybody eating?
I think they are thinking.
Already having lunch.
Everybody's having lunch.
It's
Well, they're
okay,
so
thank you.
super
All is okay.
excited that they have no words to say.
Yeah.
But all is very interesting. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Charity?
Rosalind, do you have any
Uh,
final?
I had a quick question. Is there any way that we could get, or me, but a list of the Colombian institutions represented, so we can start thinking about potential partnerships? Because I know there are so many, but just to know that there is a representative from specific institutions. So if I meet someone, I can say, oh, we were on this call together, or just have a list of who's involved.
Yes, of course.
That's great. Charity, hopefully I'll get to see your face one day.
I will definitely be at NAFSA.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Charity.
Tanika, do you know if BMIC Pi is meeting at NAFSA?
I'm pretty sure they sent out their invitation last week sometime with the date and time. I think I saw that, but I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sure they're having a meeting. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, well, we don't want to hold everyone on the call, but we do want to give Rosalind her the last comments.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen. So I just want to say thank you to everyone today, to Dr. Nguyen, to CCYK, to our panelists. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate the support that we've gotten from everyone, and we're looking forward to continuing with this project. I noticed that Diana placed in the chat that the event at NAFSA that the embassy is hosting along with CCYK is on May 29th at 5:30 p.m. So we hope that everyone will join. I'd also like to share a new opportunity that will be coming up soon, and you'll hear more about this later on, but there's going to be a new 100,000 Strong in the Americas for Colombia. It will be focused on social justice. And so I know we're very excited. We're really looking forward to sharing more information about this call for projects. So I think, to Charity's point, yes, definitely start reaching out to your colleagues in the other countries and start thinking about ways to partner together on social justice focused projects. And also, again, I'd like to encourage those that participated today and any other institutions that you know, to consider joining us in Cali in August for the HBCU Summit. More information will also be sent out soon about that opportunity, and that'll give us a chance for all of us to meet each other. I unfortunately will not go to NAFSA this year, but I hope to be able to see some of you at the summit in Cali. And I think that's it. Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias a todos por participar. Le agradecemos muchísimo su tiempo, su atención, y esperemos que estén muy motivados para aliarse con nosotros. Muchísimas gracias. Gracias, Camilo. Gracias, Giovanni.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Buenas
Thank you very
tardes.
much.
Gracias
Chao.
a todos.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you, Dr. Wynn, Dr. Lee.
Thank you, Giovanni.
Thank you.
Where's Tunisia? Is she gone already?
I think she's there.
I'm here.
She's to sleep.
Bye bye. Nos vemos pronto.
Nos vemos pronto. Great to see you all. Bye.
Bye.
Julie,
Thank you.
staying on?
Take care, everyone.